Hi, everybody. Welcome to Module 7. This is the time when we really need to put everything together. I've commented earlier in the semester several times on our steady, easy pace for this course, how we just put things together. So, now is the time where that slow and steady is finally getting to the finish line. So, we just kind of have to deal with it. Um, so I've just got a few comments that I'll try to get through as quickly as I can to try to, summarize what needs to be done. First is, as I've said before, go ahead and take a quick skim of what's going on in our textbook readings. They really are helpful. Again, we're dealing with straight nuts and bolts stuff for little things about how to put things together. Uh, it's not going to hurt anything. If you have time, by all means, check it out and make sure that you're following along with it. All right. Uh, Secondly, let's talk about what needs to be submitted at the end of this week. What I'm looking for are two essays. They can be submitted and they should probably be submitted on a single document. All right. So the first essay is going to be a revision of the draft that you wrote for me last module. I've gotten feedback to everybody on those. So make sure to look at that and make sure to make corrections or adjustments as I suggest. Um, so the first one is that, and then the second one is basically a rewrite of that essay aimed at your secondary audience. All right. So essay number one, you're speaking to an exact audience that you have selected. The purpose is to help them understand what they need to know about the subject matter. So the evidence will be pointed to that one audience. Your thesis will be arranged to point to that one audience. Everything is going to be in response to that audience. Now, when you do the second essay, it really isn't just, cutting out the first audience and putting in the second audience and leaving everything the same because the second audience is going to have different needs and you need to respond to those. Uh, it's possible that it won't require major rewrites depending on what your second audience is, but there should be concessions made to try to respond to them as fully as you did the first time. All right. Things should not really line up exactly. So think about what you need to change and make those changes. All right. So two essays is what needs to be done. When I go to grade these, what I'm looking for are two well-structured essays. And these essays need to respond primarily to those audiences. That is the whole project for our courses. So that's really what you need to aim at doing. When I say well-structured, let me present what I mean by that. Uh, First of all, what it means is moving a bit beyond what we've already done. So, about the first four modules, we spent a lot of time responding to prompts and building a lot of background for the source. And what I want you to understand is that that was not a waste of time. What it was getting you to really understand the source inside and out, backwards and forwards. That's the position that you as a writer need to be in to use a source and to use it effectively. So that's important. But right now, in building the essay, what you're not going to be doing is going back and just filling in the answers from all of those prompts, um, not in great detail. So, what I'll suggest is you're going to have an introduction, and then maybe you can build a background paragraph immediately after it that really touches on all of those prompt questions, about the audience, the purpose, the genre, all those things. They just don't need to be presented in great detail to your audience. All right. What is going on with the essay, with I'm sorry, what's going on with your source, needs to be largely interpreted by you for your audience. Now, it'll be helpful for them to know how you approach the source, and so a background paragraph like that will be helpful, but it should not be the main body of what you're presenting to them. All right. So, the other side of this is actual structure. So I just want to talk about this. Uh, we had an exercise in Module 4 where we did a draft for the introduction. And so the introduction was stressed, but the rest of the structure has been kind of left hanging. So that's where I come in and tell you the rest needs to be structured too. So there's going to be that introduction. The introduction is going to introduce the subject immediately. I've suggested that you open by presenting a kind of there's a problem, there's a solution right at the beginning of that paragraph in order to show that what you're talking about is necessary. Uh, then you're segueing into talking about your source and the subject, and then you're presenting your thesis. All right. So, um, before I lose track of my thought, let me say the thesis is there in the introduction, but your thesis should also be present throughout the entire paper. All right. That doesn't mean you need to keep exactly repeating your thesis, but it should be clear that that is the main idea that you're working on throughout it. So when you build body paragraphs, they'll start with a strong topic sentence of you making a point about the subject. Then it'll include support, direct evidence from your source. And then it'll present analysis of that support to show your reader exactly how it connects, how it proves what your initial statement was, that topic sentence. And you'll say, this is how it actually, helps prove the thesis. And you'll say how it proves the thesis and how this connects to your exact audience. So I should be seeing audience and thesis all the way through this. All right. When it gets to the conclusion will start by revisiting that thesis in a fairly explicit way. Then it'll walk your reader through the kinds of evidence that you have presented to prove that thesis. Then it will possibly include even a fresh piece of evidence just to top things off and remind the reader that you're a evidential kind of person. And then it will come back to showing why this matters exactly to the exact audience. And again, audience and thesis needs to be appearing from beginning to end. All right. Uh, One last thing, and wow, I said I'd make this short, but I'm trying. The last thing is about style, and this is a graded element, so I just want everybody to know. So our course comes with templates that are offered for each of these writing assignments, and these are to help you see what the structure should be like. We are writing in a particular style. Either it is MLA style or it is APA style. One of the things that I regularly see as a problem is that I have students that will try to mix and match them, that they will cite in one form and then shape the paper to look like the other form. And you can't do that. That is, it's either APA style or it's MLA style. Uh, the citation is one thing, and the way the paper looks is another thing, but both styles say what they should be. All right. So if it's MLA, it's going to look that way and it's going to cite that way. If it's APA, the same is true. It'll look like an APA paper visually, and it will cite in APA. So don't mix them up. All right. So make sure to use those templates, or if not, then make sure to do some research and follow some of the links I've provided about these style guides, and just look at examples and make your paper look like that. All right. So, as usual, if you have any questions about anything, please feel free, let me know. And till next time, adios.